today we're building a waterfall out of that really big cliff there. I've done a lot of the groundwork by laying down the ground, trying to make it cascade down as natural as possible. It's hopefully better by the end of the video. Now the first step always is to remove the wildlife who did not want to go quietly, but go they did. Little plot twist for you, they're still there in the next video. I forgot to remove the nests. That's fine, we live and we learn. And now I'm putting down the water, which I thought was going to be the easiest part, because I thought, you know what, I'm phenomenal at moving a computer mouse. This is going to be so easy, but I kept misclicking everywhere. It was the most humbling experience of my life, but we got through it and we made it to the end. And it was a lot more difficult than I thought I would be, and I said it in my very first stream, it's difficult to make something look natural but intentional at the same time. So there's a lot of backing and forthing where I play something, I'll step back to have a look and go back in, play some more. I really envied the type of builds that are symmetrical, because it's easy, right? You build one thing on one side and then you just repeat it on the other, and you know you could do it because you've already done it once, and it's not the same when it's just a natural build, especially when you kind of hit this groove and then you take a step back and you realize everything is on the same level, and that doesn't really look natural. You know, you need to have a lot of different shapes and a lot of different levels and heights and just directions. So much is different but it was an experience, and I really came to enjoy just, I don't want to say grind, it wasn't a grind, but just the process of it all, especially because as of yet, I hadn't yet hit the point where I'd started doubting myself and thought, oh, this is not the vision, this is not what I had planned, this is not what I wanted. But, you know, as with all things, you've just got to keep powering through, and I did. And I'm actually really happy with how it all turned out. I think there's a lot that I would have preferred. If I could have gone back, I think I would have made distinct shelves for the waterfall. So we had the top and then a shelf down and a shelf down to the bottom. That's for next waterfall, I think, wherever that may be. But we worked with the space that we had. I also wish I had moved the road. The waterfall actually comes up right against the road. I think there's one like block space between the road and the waterfall. I'm kind of left now with what to do with the road, because I know I don't want it there. I need to move it back. I want to have sort of a little boardwalk, especially if the little boardwalk can somewhat connect to the dock that's going to be there. Oh, that was so satisfying. Yes, and if it can connect to the dock that's meant to be there, and just have a nice little seating area, something a lot more visually appealing than sidewalk. But we'll get there. I'm gonna sit with that decision, and I'll get to it a bit later. And it's here that I wish that you could plant the trees in the flower beds. It really grinds my gears that you can't really put anything that you need to bury in there. I'm in love with the river grass, and I would have loved to have put that in the water higher. I feel like for the amount of real estate that it takes up, it brings a lot of life. I'm mad for it. So in it all goes, and we'll pop that back up there. And in comes wildlife, and I think it's at this point here where I haven't got any rocks. The plant life isn't what I want from it yet. There's no colour, it's all pretty boring. At this time in the afternoon, it's really dull. The colour of the water is dull, and I was really not thinking that I had made the right call with putting a waterfall here. Or at least it's not the waterfall I wanted to see. But like I said before, we persevere and we keep going. And I'm really trying to kind of hide some of the border of the water path, the waterbed, sorry, with the rock. And I just wish that I could shape the rock a little bit squarer sometimes, or just shape it a little bit differently as opposed to heights. I know when there's rocks together, they do form a bit of a different shape, but just to have that kind of flexibility in the one square would be really nice. And then catch me whinging because I have to sort through so many rocks to decide what shape I want. There's just no pleasing me. And here at this time of the afternoon and the water's back to a blue, you kind of do get a little bit encouraged. And green. Blue and green. So we're still getting some colour there, and especially with the addition of that. Now, these have yet to bloom, the wattle seeds and the bottle brush. They've yet to bloom, but they're nice big bushes, and I really like that. And these lily pads are a lifesaver. I think they also add a lot of life for a really small amount of real estate. And it's funny that I mentioned the colours and adding, again, some variety of colour, because I do favour this river daisy here with the blue. I actually thought it might look better because it matched the blue of the water. I think I overthought it. I don't think it actually mattered all that much, really. I tried to bury these mushrooms just to add a bit of light as well. I didn't want to put any lanterns or anything in there. I feel like it would look really unnatural, and, you know, it's a waterfall. So that added a lot. I do go in and add the glow buttons, and with those I did try to hide them behind rocks and pathways and things. I really didn't want them sticking up, and I don't hate how they turned out. I think they actually came out quite okay, because they're just too, I feel like they're too much for this build if they were up and out, if you could see the whole thing, but they just added a little bit of ambient light there. And I really don't like the way the glow buttons look in the morning, so hiding them I feel like was the best option. But you can see what I mean about the waterfall coming right up to the road there. That's definitely got to go. But I'm not hating it, weirdly enough. Especially, the video's about to end soon, but there's a whole lot that's changed when everything grows. Here we go, we're about to see it now. So this is after I filmed the Tucker Box build, which you can see in the background there. But I really wanted to give the trees and everything a chance to grow. I really need more coconut trees in there, just have the different coloured leaves for the palm trees. But I think it really did turn out not the way I imagined. It never will, but a lot better than I could have hoped for. So thank you all so much for watching. Keep your standards low and your hopes high. We'll see you next time.